My name is James Marohn, and I'm a gunner's mate gunner, third class, that'd be an E4. But I came back, and we ended up flying over commercial, which surprised me. I expected we'd be on a ship or something like that. But I flew over on Braniff Airlines. And I remember we came down and landed in, I believe it was Benoit, right north of Saigon. And we came down, and I got out, and the first thing you notice when you get there is it's hot, and it stinks. The smell is some, me being from central Wisconsin where the air is fresh and clean and snow and everything else that time of the year, it was a real surprise. And I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to survive a year in this place? But they bussed us from the airport into town to get mustered in, and they had us in a hotel downtown up on the 6th floor. And we're sitting up there, they had an enlisted men's club up there. So we're sitting there with our feet up, drinking a beer, watching them fire on the same airbase we had flown in. And I thought, well, you're not in Kansas anymore, are you? But then we, next day, loaded us into a little airplane, a little C-100 I think it was, flew us down to Vung Tau, and we then drove up at like a great Navy school bus up to Cat Low to our base. And it was a relatively new base, and by new I mean it wasn't developed at all. It was a bunch of Quonset huts, is pretty much all it was, on a river a couple miles up in the Mekong Delta. And we got assigned to our boats, and the bathrooms itself, the showers, I swear they pumped the water straight out of the river. It was dirty and cold, and it took months before the base developed. But anyway, we started our initial in-country training where you get together and get assigned to another boat. And the boat that I was on at that time was PCF 96 with Lieutenant J.G. Bob Plum was our boat officer. And we partnered up with another boat over there, Lieutenant Keating and PCF 39, and we'd go out and do some training, and we were barely in country a matter of days. And we were out doing some practice firing runs, learning how to support each other, how to spot, things like that. And their boat was probably over maybe 25 or 30 yards from ours, and we were spotting where they were firing. And they ended up with an explosion on the boat. Just a second. And I think all of us, if you ever remember the story of the kid story about the blind men with the elephant, one guy's feeling the legs and says this is a tree, another guy's the tail, this is a rope. Everybody saw something different. But the explosion, Gary Friedman was killed, and another very good friend, Scott Mead, was severely injured. So he had he's still dealing with it today. He lost an arm. He's pretty much legally blind, and etc. But he's doing very well, and we still get together. But it was interesting. About 10 years ago, we all got together for the first time in St. Louis, and we hadn't seen each other. We're all dancing around this thing, not talking until the wives kind of backed off. Oh, excuse me. And all of a sudden, we all started discussing that, because that was our opening into Vietnam, And every one of us saw this thing different. You swear none of us were at the same place. But once we got done, it was a lot more clear what had happened, But we spent, I remember, the next 3 days, from my vantage point, watching this thing from 25 yards away or whatever the heck it was. I remember there being a white cloud, and Gary almost flying in slow motion in this white cloud off the back end of the boat. And we spent the next 3 days looking for the body, dragging for the body, anything. Ultimately turned up in a local fisherman's nets, and he called. And of course by that time everything had been changed around, the boat number had been pulled out of there. They sent that in. The other crew got reassigned to another boat, but we always stayed together through the whole time. But that was our introduction.